Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I've jumped on to show you how I made these little camera embellishments. I made them for embellishments on the 11th. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it at the end of this one. I'll put a card on at the end of this video for it, so you can go and have a look. And this was one of the embellishments that I made. And lots of people asked me to show my process for this. So that's what I thought I would do. And I just started die cutting the elements out when I thought actually there might be bits that you might find useful from seeing that process too. So first of all, I keep some of these like little bun tray things because it's really good when you're doing things in assembly line style to be able to cut the elements out and sort of stack, you know, all the like pieces in a little well together. And it just keeps everything that little bit sort of tidier and easier to put things together when it comes to that point. So I generally, when I'm making things in bulk, will cut the pieces out and put them into a little tray like this, ready to be used. So I've cut the white piece, obviously, out of this fantastic sparkly, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but it's really, oh yeah, there you go, holographic, brilliant paper. So I've only got one sheet of it, so I'm using it frugally. So I've cut the front piece of the camera with that, and then I want some a black layer, so the little black piece under there, and it'll just help to thick it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is pop it onto my plate. So I'm just using my little baby blue from Tattered Lace, and I'm going to pop that on, knock my camera as I do it, and again, and send it back through the other way as well. Okay, now I flip my plates over, just move my die cutter if I can, it's suctioned to my mat so that we can see the back of it. And before I start taking this out the die, I'm going to put a bit of tape on the back here to secure all the little pieces in together. So I like using micropore tape because, as any good nurse will tell you, there's nothing in the world that a bit of micropore tape can't fix. So I'm going to put this just on the back here like that. So this tape is really, really cheap. I get mine from Wilko's. It's this one. So micropore tape. I think you get, mine's covered in ink because I store it in my ink drawer, 5 meters on the roll, and this is 2.5 centimeter roll of it, and I buy loads of this. I think it's about 40p, 60p a roll, something like that, and I buy tons of it because I use it for everything. So by putting that on the back, now when I come to take this out of the die, I should get all my pieces left in. So I'm just using my pokey tool just to gently ease it out of the die, like so. And any bits that haven't come out, that's fine. All I'm going to do is pop them out of the die. Because some bits, particularly if they're really skinny bits like this one, they don't, even with a bit of tape, they can be tricky to get out. And then all I'm going to do is just push that back in. And because the tape is there, it will just push in and hold in nicely. There we go, just like that. And then pop that one in there. So that gives me a nice base now on which to place my white layer. So that can go over the top, and I glue that one on just using a little bit of wet glue. So move all of this out of the way. All I'm going to do is put a little bit of wet glue. Oops, drop my die cut. All the way around like that. Like so. And then I'm just going to line that up like that. And then you've got just a few seconds, because it is the wet glue, just to straighten that up. And then give it a good pinch, a good squeeze, and push it all into place. And there we've got the start of our camera. So the other thing that I'm going to want is I need all the little coloured bits that are inside it. So to do that, I'm going to cut it in white, like that. And again, I'm going to stick a little bit of the tape on the back, and that's just because this is going to make colouring everything a little bit easier. Now, I'm not bothered about that bar at the bottom there because I'm not actually going to be using that bit, so I'm just making sure that all the other pieces are included. Give it a bit of a rub to try and get them to stick to the tape, but again, it's not the end of the world if they don't. We can stick them back in. It just makes colouring everything a little bit easier if they're all in together, like so. So there we've got this piece. So now I can go ahead and colour these bits. So the circle bits, I used a silver paint pen. So I'm just going to go around like that. I also put a bit of silver under where the lens is, although you won't really see that because I'm going to put a gem over the top of it. And I coloured this bit here in silver too. And then I had a green and a red for the buttons on the side. So I just used alcohol markers, but you could use anything. You could use felt tip pens, coloured pencils, watercolour pens, it doesn't really matter. But by keeping it in place and keeping it in the die cut, it just makes colouring it easier. Now, because I've used a paint pen, I'm going to leave that for a second and just let that dry properly. So while that's drying, I'm going to cut my little word smile out. And to do that, I want 2 layers of black card. Now, the easiest way to do that is to use a piece of double-sided tape. Just put that across a piece of black cardstock. Trim it out. Just trim the edges off there like so. And take the release paper off the back of there and stick it onto this cardstock. Give it a good press. And now I can run that through my die cutting machine and I will get my word, but it'll be thicked up because it'll be in 2 layers. So I'll just cut that out. Okay, so I have cut my word smile, and that is 2 layers thick. I did exactly the same with some white card, and I cut the little Polaroid frame. So I can take that bit out because I don't want that piece. And I cut it again in black. Now, what I want to do is put the black part of the Polaroid onto the white frame, because that's obviously what a Polaroid actually looks like. Now, you won't see an awful lot of the black. In fact, you probably won't see any of it. You might see a little tiny bit around the edge of the actual picture that we're going to put in there. But I'm a perfectionist, so I have to put it in there. So I'm just going to, with a little piece of tape, I'm going to run a piece of tape on the back of the frame like so. And then, oops, I'm just going to pop my centerpiece, my black centerpiece in there like that. So you could just leave it like that if you don't want to put a picture in there, if you don't want to put like your little cat or whatever in there. You could just leave it as a Polaroid like that. Now, don't throw that bit away because we are going to want that if you're going to put a little picture in. And I've also cut out the little colourful bit that goes down the bottom there, and I've cut that again 2 layers thick, and we're going to colour that. So with my glue, I've got the little black bar. I've just cut that 1 layer thick because I didn't want it to be too prominent. So I'm going to pop that on the top there. So I've just got a wax pencil. I find that they're really useful for doing small die cuts because I'm not the steadiest. I do get quite shaky hands, so I find a pokey tool and a wax pencil is the saving grace. There we go, like that. And then I'm going to put in the little bits on here. And because they're all stuck in on that piece of paper that we cut them out of, they're all nice and secure and I haven't lost anything. And I can just peel out the piece that I want and add it in. So I just go 1 piece at a time. Obviously, I've put a little bit of glue in the channel where the cutout is actually going to sit. And this is where, again, I use my pokey tool just to help me get it in place. like so, and get the other one out. These are the fiddliest bits, these little, but they do look cool in silver. So there we go. Now I'm going to take, if I can get to it, a little green piece and put that one in there. And then I accidentally took the glue out of that one, so just dab a little bit more glue in and put my red one in like so. Now for the flash, I do want it to be sparkly, so I'm going to use some diamond dust, and all I'm going to do is take that little one that has got the silver on it. I'm just going to put a little coat of white glue like that. I'm going to cover it in the glitter, and again I'm just going to let that sit for a few minutes before I actually put that into place. And just let that glue set. So while we're waiting for that to set, what I'm going to do is show you how to get the little cat picture. So that's why I wanted to keep this frame. So what I can do is line up what kitty it is I would like in the picture. So I quite like this little fellow down here. So all I'm going to do is take my frame and sort of line it up where I like it, so that I've got the kitty's head is obviously the main aim for this piece, and then I'm going to centralise that piece over it like so. Where's my pencil? Find a pencil. I'm just going to draw a line around like so, and then I can get rid of that bit and I can line my die back up. So I can just trim it out to make it a bit easier to put it through the die cutter. Oops, I've just accidentally cut that one, but it'll be okay. Okay, make sure you got it the right way up, because obviously you want the bottom of the frame at the bottom of the picture, like that. Again, we're going to get in our trusty micropore tape and just put a piece of micropore across there, just to sort of hold it in place. Bob it on the plates, and I'm going to send that through the die cutting machine. There we go, we've got our little kitty. So the cat can put a little bit of glue on the back of that and just pop that into my frame like so. And there you go. So we're getting there. So now I can take my little flash piece out. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue up in the top there, and then I'm going to pick out my little glittery flash from in here like so, and I'm going to pop that up here. Now mine's not quite dry, but obviously you would wait for yours to dry, but there you go. I've got a sparkly little flash on my camera. Okay, so now we can just pop everything together. So I've just got some little foam dots. These are the tiny little mini ones, and all I'm going to do is my little image is going to go here. So I want one right in that corner, oops, but not so that it'll be seen, like that. Yeah. And then and pop them up the side here. Again, these are quite fiddly. You can use tweezers. I'm just pig-headed and lazy, so I don't. Like that. And then I'll put one just there as well. Okay, I've just remembered we haven't coloured our little this bit in. Now to colour that in, I actually used my real brush markers just because they've got a really, really fine tip on them, and it just makes colouring these tiny small areas a little bit easier. So I just did mine as a bit of a rainbow colour, and it is a little bit fiddly again because I'm a perfectionist and I like to make sure all the sides and everything are done. And then we did a green, go for that green, like so. Looking at what I did on this one, yellow. Have that yellow this time. Orange. Oops, just dropped it. Some orange, like that, and then a little bit of red. Get the right colour out. Ooh, just pushed it under my thing. And there we go. Just make sure that's covered on the end there. And then I do like to just go up my sides. I think it just makes it look a little bit more finished. Like that. And then that one, just a little bit of glue. You can actually see the indent from the die of where this piece actually sits. So it just sits like that. Now I can take all of the little bits off of my foam pads, and I'm going to put a little dot of glue on them just because it gives me a moment to get it placed where I want. And look, one of my foam pads is sticking out and I don't do that, so move that one in a bit. That's better. So I'm just going to position that where I want it on top of my camera, and then I've got my word smile, which, because I've layered it up with 2 layers of cardstock, it's already nice and thicked up, so I don't need to put anything behind this. I'm just going to glue that straight down on top of my picture, like so. And there we have it. That's how I made my little Polaroids. And I think they are super cute, and obviously you could use any images. You could go through your papers and see what tiny images you've got that you could use in your cameras. You could even print out really small photos of people and put their own photo in an embellishment for them. On this one I did actually use a gem. I think it's about this size. I've just realised I haven't put that on. There you go. To make it look like a lens. Obviously you don't have to do that. You can sort of finish them any way that you want to. So on some that I've done previously, I've actually put a square gem up the top there for the flash and glittered the inside of the lens. So yeah, they're really cute. Mine's moving about because the glue's still wet. I'll have to leave that off to one side to dry because it's the high gloss cardstock. It does take a little while for it to dry, but once it's dried it's absolutely fine. So that's it. That's how I made my little Polaroid embellishments. It was just a really cheap little die set that I got from AliExpress, I think it was an Ali one, and it just comes with the little pieces that you need to. Trying to find the other one. There is another tiny little die that I've put off to one side and now can't find. There you go. That's the actual camera. Oops, put it in shot, it'll help. That's the actual camera die set. And then the words smile is from a different die set that I've got. But you could use anything. You could even print it out and, you know, do a little printed word there like the Tim Holtzy type ones, but you could make your own ones on the computer if you don't have small enough word dies. So that's it. That's how I made my cute little Polaroid embellishments. I hope you've enjoyed seeing how I put those together, and I hope that there's one or two little helpful tips there on putting together small die cuts. So that's it from me for now. I'd like to thank everybody that has recently joined my channel and those that have been with me all along. My numbers have grown again just recently, and that's really nice. It's really good to have an audience and to sort of think that you are doing these videos for people that are actually getting some enjoyment or learning something from them. So thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll see you all again very, very soon in another crafty video. Bye for now.